On the eve of the wedding, the fiancés' first love had beaten them to it by sending wedding invitations first. Su-man attended the reunion alone, the two embracing and weeping under the moonlight. Her best friend asked, "Then what does Chung Jung count as?" Su-man replied coldly, "A honest man willing to spend money on me, suitable for taking responsibility." But later, kneeling in torrential rain begging me to come back, was also her. Holding an umbrella, I gazed at her with a relieved smile. "Su-man, I don't love you anymore. Let's go to Bali for our honeymoon, okay? I found this super beautiful sea view hotel." Eagerly flipping through my carefully prepared travel plans before handing them to Su-man, she had already waved dismissively, her exquisite brows showing not a ripple. Not impatient, but completely uninterested. "Same as always. Cold as ice. You can make the bookings, I'm fine with anything. I'm going to the restroom." Su-man got up and left, me awkwardly withdrawing my phone. She was perfect in every way. Looks good, personality's great, career's thriving, and she treats me decently too. It's just that she's too cold by nature. At such a young age, she already acts like she's seen through the vanity of life. After all this time living together day and night, I've never seen her lose control emotionally. Naturally, I haven't witnessed her genuinely happy laughter either. Maybe Ice Queen was coined specifically to describe her. I secretly grumbled in my heart for a while. Somehow, the ocean view suite that felt incredibly dreamy earlier now appeared utterly tasteless. Irritably putting down my phone, I leaned back in the chair and glanced at her laptop. A Korean drama was playing on the screen, the one Su-man particularly liked, for which she'd specially bought a membership. As the female lead delivered her lines, a WeChat chat window suddenly popped up. Man, heard you're getting married next month? Such happy news. Why didn't you tell us girls?" Recognizing the profile picture immediately as Su-man's best friend Shin Yao, I couldn't help growing curious. As the fiancé, I had never touched her WeChat before. Firstly, because Su-man led a very routine life with a simple social circle, I trusted her. Secondly, she valued personal space immensely and absolutely despised invasions of privacy. Since she herself forgot to log out, I figured I'd take just a quick glance. So Su-man hadn't notified a single friend about such a major event like marriage? I smirked. Typical of her style. Nothing worth mentioning. Just getting married, that's all. Shin Yao. Is it still Chung Jung? Su-man. Yeah. Shin Yao. Knew it. Who else could tolerate your temperament besides him? Chung Jung really has it rough. I nodded wryly, thinking of my emotionally distant, an inexpressive Ice Queen girlfriend. These years truly hadn't been easy. Shin Yao. I still remember you started dating him to forget Gu Machuan. But Chung Jung's personality is way better than Gu Machuan's. His temper really is a blessing. That time it was his birthday, you couldn't leave because you were getting a manicure. He waited alone in the restaurant for 2 hours without saying a word. I remember whenever you had dates with Gu Machuan, you'd always arrive half an hour early. He'd get angry if he was even slightly late. Gu Machuan. Su-man's first love, Gu Machuan. I stared blankly at the screen, my thoughts freezing momentarily. The three of us were university alumni. I heard they had briefly dated during freshman year, but soon went their separate ways. At that time, Su-man was devastated, quietly sobbing in a corner of the library. I happened to pass by and witness this scene. That became the catalyst for our acquaintance, though we didn't truly grow close until after graduation. Hearing Shin Yao's words, could it be she never got over that relationship, using me as a salve for her wounds? What chilled me most was that on my birthday, Su-man couldn't even be bothered to explain properly. Just said she was tied up with something important she'd been planning for months. As a perfectionist, she was then preparing for a crucial design competition. The project lasted a whole year. When she broke the date, I thought work had kept her tied up. Turns out, she actually went for a beauty treatment instead. True enough, beauty treatments do take hours. Technically, she wasn't lying. I chuckled self-deprecatingly. But the longer I laughed, the heavier my chest grew. Shin Yao's words were truly loaded with implication. Who knew Su-man could be punctual? All these years, she always claimed to be swamped with work. I'd endured countless waits during our dates. 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. After enough waiting, I learned to leave half an hour late myself. Su-man. Decent men willing to spend money on me make perfect safety nets. Shin Yao. True. When younger, I envied your fiery passion with Gu Machuan. Now I understand. Men like Chung Jung who show tolerance, consideration, and enjoy spending on their girlfriends are the best marriage material. I rubbed my stinging eye corners. At least Su-man had said something kind for once. Then why did my heart keep sinking deeper? Su-man had always been reserved and restrained, inexpressive in conveying emotions. When asked if she loved me, the answer was forever and indifferent. Just okay. 5 years had passed without hearing a single sweet nothing. Whenever I tried to discuss feelings, she would frown and dismiss it as unnecessary affectation, claiming mature people shouldn't wallow in romantic entanglements. Had the aloof Su-man ever experienced heart-wrenching love? Heart-wrenching indeed. Heart-wrenching. I forced back the bitterness and kept staring at the screen. Shenyao, if you intend to spend your lives together, care for him more from now on. We've always been betting on when you'll finally drive Chengzheng away. Su-man, no need to worry. He won't leave. How can Su-man be so certain? Where does this confidence come from? This assurance was precisely what I'd granted her, drop by drop. Late? No matter. Your work matters more. Forgot my birthday? It's fine. Even saints slip sometimes. Never celebrated a single holiday. I have to respect her choice. If she doesn't want to celebrate, I'll just spend it alone. Thus, every Qixi festival, Valentine's Day, Christmas, I would hit the gym to vent, then grab a bite somewhere. You're welcome to pursue ceremonial rituals, but don't force others to follow your tempo. Your passion for festivals is understandable. My aversion to them is equally valid. Mutual understanding is what matters. After Su-man calmly delivered these words, she never accompanied me for any holidays except birthdays since. Shenyao, I heard your local wedding customs are quite particular. Return gifts, jewelry, wedding photos, dozen banquet tables. Have you prepared everything? Su-man, I don't worry about these. He'll arrange them. Shenyao, oh my, you're really living the good life, not having to manage anything. I smiled bitterly. Shenyao wasn't wrong at all. Wedding preparations seemed to be entirely my burden. 5 years into this relationship, my mother said we weren't getting younger, that we should consider marriage and childbearing. So I asked my parents to contact Su-man's family, and her parents' attitude mirrored hers exactly. Just set the date and venue yourselves. We'll attend punctually when the time comes. Shenyao, I heard the bride price in your area is exceedingly high, often reaching hundreds of thousands. Is Cheng Zheng's family willing to pay that? Su-man, his family is very generous. Our family asked for 880,000 yuan in bride price, and they agreed without even blinking an eye. Shenyao, that generous? Impressive. Does Cheng Zheng have any brothers? Introduce me to one, will you? Su-man, stop joking. I chugged a mouthful of water, trying to douse the bitterness in my throat. Too engrossed in reading earlier, my eyes were feeling sore and strained. The arrogant Su-man was different from ordinary girls. Every time I mentioned money, she called me vulgar. Regarding the wedding arrangements, Su-man's family hasn't inquired at all, meaning they'll come for a meal once we have everything arranged. I finalized the banquet, selected the wedding favors, even accompanied Su-man to her wedding dress fitting. No matter what opinion I sought from her, she always maintained that aloof demeanor. Do as you like, any option works for me. Recalling this now, did she not care about these trivial matters, or was she entirely indifferent to my existence? Shenyao, by the way, I have important news. Gu Machuan is holding a wedding ceremony and sent us all invitations. He mentioned deleting your contact info before, specifically asked for your number from me. He'll probably contact you soon. The WeChat conversation continued scrolling on the computer screen. Su-man closed the chat window as running water sounds came from the bathroom. I kept my head down, pretending to scroll through my phone in complete silence. When Su-man emerged from the bathroom, her expression remained detached, as if completely unaware I'd seen all her conversations. She silently sat down beside me, her gaze never once settling on me. I clenched my fists, struggling to contain the emotional turmoil within. The sudden ringtone made me secretly glance at the screen, an unfamiliar number. Su-man picked up the phone, her voice slightly trembling. It's me. Thank you, congratulations to you. Don't worry, I'll definitely be there. Is it Gu Machuan calling? A piercing chill spread from my chest to my entire body. I understood Su-man too well. In all these years, the last time she had appeared this nervous was while awaiting the crucial notification about the law firm partnership. Back then she had been competing for the senior partner position, pouring in an entire year's effort for it. Su-man set down the phone, appearing calm on the surface yet clutching the device tightly. Her knuckles turned white from the excessive force, veins protruded prominently. Zheng, Su-man softened her tone. Just send those dresses you mentioned, gifting me directly to my home. I abruptly looked up, staring straight at her. Su-man visibly stiffened at my gloomy expression. Her voice became uncharacteristically gentle. What's wrong? Work exhaustion. You've been under too much pressure lately. She moved to approach me, but I rose with icy composure. A flash of panic crossed Su-man's eyes. Don't be like this. She spoke softly. Su-man had been the epitome of a refined young lady since childhood, gentle, elegant, and always poised with perfect manners. The model student in teachers' eyes, the exemplary figure among classmates, her parents' cherished pride and joy. Such upbringing cultivated in her a gentle yet stubborn personality, always bearing difficulties silently alone. With my strong-willed nature, I rarely yielded to her. But this time, a fire of resentment burned within me, completely unwilling to engage with her. Noticing my icy expression, Su-man panicked. She rose and entered the bedroom, gently closing the door. The old me would have immediately followed to comfort her. Yet now I remained rooted in place, replaying these past 5 years' memories. As a woman, Su Man truly shone brilliantly. Her delicate features complemented her slender, graceful figure. She maintained near-perfectionist standards for herself, adhering to a strict daily routine, never staying up late, and meticulous self-care. Successful in her career, independent, intelligent, and rational. But if she remains perpetually cold towards me, what relevance do these shining qualities hold for me? Lowering my head, I seriously contemplated our relationship for the first time. My affection for her had come unexpectedly. I'd fallen at first sight. Su Man was the awakening of my emotional world. All my first experiences, every one of them, had been given to her. Her figure occupied my most resplendent youthful years. She shone too brightly, constantly undermining my confidence when by her side. This sense of inferiority made me keep backing down, losing myself, and ultimately falling into my current predicament. After 5 years together, she remains the deepest imprint on my heart. Yet to her, I'm merely a suitable marriage candidate. Before long, Su Man emerged expressionless. Remember to buy me that dress. I couldn't suppress a bitter smile. She hadn't even glanced at our engagement gown, yet poured such meticulous care into her ex's wedding preparations. I'm a bit strapped for cash right now. Buy it yourself. Su Man looked at me in surprise, finally noticing my strangeness. What's wrong? Why are you angry? Work troubles? Even if work isn't going well, don't bring that mood home. We're adults and should learn to manage our emotions. I don't want to bear your displaced anger. Think carefully about your own issues. Su Man carried her water cup back to the room, freezing the atmosphere between us to absolute zero. What I never expected was that Gu Machwan's partner would turn out to be my high school classmate. Staring at the digital invitation forwarded by my classmate, I remained transfixed by the photo for a long time. The twists of fate are truly marvelous. With the wedding scheduled for the weekend, Su Man finally stopped giving me the cold shoulder. Early in the morning she asked, Zheng, can you transfer me 10,000 yuan? Her free spending habits always exhausted her monthly salary within days. Since we started dating, she frequently borrowed money from me without repaying, constantly giving me this feeling of being taken advantage of. After a moment's hesitation, I still took out 10,000 yuan from my wallet and handed it to her, watching as she sat before the mirror carefully applying her makeup. Why are you dressing up so elaborately today? Do you have a date? Su Man's eyebrow penciling hand paused slightly. There's an important meeting. It's crucial. I'm heading out first, won't be back for dinner today. I stood before the vanity adjusting my attire. Su Man, see you at the wedding venue. This was a simple and unadorned wedding held in the bride's family's countryside, the banquet set up under temporary canopies erected in the village hall. Entering this unfamiliar village, I felt considerable surprise. Baya had always given the impression of being extravagant and flamboyant, particularly meticulous about appearances. I'd assumed she came from wealth. Country weddings proved far livelier than urban ones, filled with villagers visiting and chatting everywhere, an endless stream of guests coming to see the groom and present gifts. Gu Machwan wore a tailored suit with a crisp shirt, his every gesture exuding an air of elegance. Standing at the edge of the crowd, I soon spotted Su Man's figure. She walked towards Gu Machwan with measured steps. Her expression was so calm it bordered on coldness, like some perfectionist workaholic. When Gu Machwan saw Su Man, he was visibly startled, his hands involuntarily clenching and releasing. Su Man presented an exquisitely packaged gift box. It's been a while. Wishing you a happy marriage. Gu Machwan gazed at Su Man, his eyes mingling joy and remorse. Long time no see, man. As guests continued to arrive, Su Man withdrew to the periphery, yet her gaze persistently lingered on Gu Machwan with restrained intensity. Her observation held both restraint and tenacity, as though treasuring their final moments of encounter. Ironically, had she glanced slightly to the side, she would have discovered my presence mere steps away. This city-educated son-in-law looks refined, but I wonder if he'll adapt to our village ways. Too bookish by half. Doubt he can handle farm work. Heard they got on the bus first and then bought the ticket. Old Bai's family wouldn't have accepted such a son-in-law otherwise. Standing nearby, I absorbed the villagers' murmuring commentary. Memories surfaced of how Gu Machwan had ended things with Su Man, resentful of her assertiveness and perceived lack of gentleness. The partner I'm with now has ended up with a circle of hard-to-handle relatives. I found my seat and sat down. How ridiculous. Earlier I was still wondering what to say when meeting Suman. Now it seems those worries were completely unnecessary. She appeared like she had fallen into an ice cellar, utterly insensible to everything around her. Even her best friend's calls beside her fell on deaf ears, let alone noticing me in this bustling crowd. As the banquet began, I saw unprecedented complexity of emotions flashing across Suman's face. Within moments, it surpassed all expressions I'd witnessed during our 5 years together. Loss, melancholy, nostalgia, joy, confusion, heartache, regret. Looking at Suman's expression at this moment, I suddenly realized a cruel truth. She never truly loved me. That's why she remained so detached. No arguments, no jealousy. I thought her nature was coldly rational, bad at expressing emotions. In reality, it was because she felt nothing for me. Without love, she couldn't be bothered to invest time. Because she didn't care, she showed no ripples of emotion toward me. Because of her indifference, everything followed her habits. This realization left me both heartbroken and relieved. Like a prisoner finally receiving the verdict, the dust had settled. Why is Asian crying? Don't get too emotional. We all know Baiya's true nature. Borrowed his parents' retirement savings to chase after his current partner, debts nearing $1 million mark. When dating, he splurged recklessly. Luxury hotels, globetrotting, designer purchases on a whim. Now that he's married, this groom might be shackled to debt repayment for life. Cough. I choked in shock, listening to my college classmates' gossip. Temporarily suppressing my anguish, I pricked up my ears to catch every word. How do you all know so much? Xiao Kai curled her lips disdainfully. You're always buried in work, of course you'd miss it. Our intel network is unmatched. Just check Baiya's husband's Mobwa. Last year alone, they went to Maldives, Paris, Cairo, and Tokyo. I casually took out my phone as if by coincidence. What's his Mobwa account name? Let me take a look. Oh, so you're into this gossip too. Kai's eyes lit up, as if finding a kindred spirit. Within the duration of this meal, I had learned more about Gu Machuan than Su Man ever had. So this is the type of man Su Man fancies. Cultured and talented, versatile, and understands the art of living. They say Gu Machuan not only masters piano and poetry, excels at cooking, but is also an expert in red wine and coffee. He embodies the gentleness and delicacy of spring breeze, brimming with poetic charm. A sense of inferiority began to creep into my heart again. Compared to Gu Machuan, I'm like an uncultured brute, clueless about romance, ignorant of arts, can't even appreciate wine. My life consists of gaming, reading sports news, and binge-watching TV dramas. No wonder Su Man found me boring. Indeed, compared to someone like Gu Machuan, I'm too ordinary. Looking at that dashing man in my phone photos, my heart started aching in waves again. If Gu Machuan were a mellow whiskey, then I must be tasteless plain boiled water. Gu Machuan is truly outstanding, talented, young, and successful, yet still so good at making money. It's a shame he married Baiya. Humph. Xiao Kai's disdainful snort interrupted my lament. Who told you Gu Machuan makes money himself? I looked at her in confusion. Playing piano, tasting wines, traveling the world. Looks like he lived this decadent life even before meeting Baiya. He's second-generation rich, or his family owns mines. Xiao Kai revealed an all-knowing expression. Your thrifty character is too rare. Those people squander money even when they don't have it. Gu Machuan comes from a very ordinary family. His father is a company employee, his mother stays home to take care of the household. They live a simple life. That image of him being a life winner, it's all built on maxed-out credit cards. They say the only reason he agreed to be with Baiya was because she paid off his 400,000 yuan debt on the day she confessed to him. Baiya looks glamorous, but she's actually a hollow shell. She spent hundreds of thousands just in the pursuit phase, another few hundred thousand during their year-long relationship. I bet she's buried in debt now. She was asking for loans in the class group chat last week. My face still bore traces of sympathy. Now I finally understood why Su Man said I was the ideal marriage candidate. Both my parents are doctors with generous pensions. Our family assets are substantial. My own salary is decent, living simply, cooking and cleaning at home after work every day. Even without family support, my savings have surpassed 6 figures after 4 years of work. Maybe I should learn from Gu Machuan and go out to experience more of life's sparkle? I ended the dinner with mixed feelings. As I was leaving, I accidentally stepped on Su Man's shoe. Her eyes widened in shock, disbelief etched across her face. Zheng, you actually followed me? I responded with a cold smile. So you finally recognized me. I'm the bride's colleague. I was sitting at the table next to yours. Su Man's expression darkened further. Why didn't you say so earlier? Interesting. Since when did you start caring about my whereabouts? Su Man fell silent, her face turning increasingly grim. Zheng, this is my private matter. You have no right to interfere. I nodded slightly. Goodbye. I knew what Su Man wanted to salvage, but I no longer wished to continue this relationship. Witnessing her attitude toward her beloved had finally revealed her indifference toward me. Someone who couldn't earn her love in 5 years would probably never have another chance in this lifetime. Su Man, I'm letting you go. I stepped around her and walked away without hesitation. Quickly starting the car, I drove off the scene. Su Man's slender figure quickly disappeared from the rearview mirror. I clutched the steering wheel, forcing back tears to avoid showing weakness. Memories of moments with Su Man flashed relentlessly during the drive. Her gentle poise wearing floral dresses while reading, graceful yoga poses, intellectual focus during work. I had poured my entire heart into this woman, memorized all her habits, dedicated every day to building a warm home. How could 5 years of shared life lose to fleeting adolescent romance? Perhaps Gu Machwan's dazzling presence was simply too extraordinary. That man as radiant as celestial stars. Su Man hadn't returned when I pushed open the apartment door. The banquet manager's call came precisely then. Mr. Chung, have you finalized the 3 additional dishes? Cancel the entire wedding banquet. The voice tensed immediately. Why, you'll lose the 30,000 deposit. No matter. Proceed. Setting down the phone, I began packing my luggage. This apartment belongs to Su Man. After graduating from college, I moved in when she said she felt lonely living alone. Opening the wardrobe door, I saw our clothes nestled intimately together. Taking a deep breath, I tried to suppress the turmoil in my heart. She was my first love and the future I had planned. So hard to let go. In love, the one who gives more always finds it hardest to release. Perhaps I should give Su Man one last chance. I decided to have an open conversation with her, offering our relationship its final hope. Not long after, Su Man pushed the door open gently, rubbing her tired eyes. Su Man, let's talk seriously. She sighed softly. I just want to say goodbye to the past. Don't overthink it. Those things happened back in high school, so long ago. I'm tired. Let's not talk about this anymore, okay? Before I could speak, she shook her head slightly and turned towards the bedroom. I followed resolutely. It's not about Gu Machwan. I want to discuss our issues. Su Man came to a halt, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. What's wrong between us? I stood rooted to the spot, struggling to maintain a calm tone as bitter emotions seeped through. You keep building walls around yourself, indifferent to our future. You never show interest in wedding preparations. On days off, you just go shopping for bags, never join me for workouts, can't even be bothered to argue with me. What exactly? My voice trembled with suppressed anger, laced with unmistakable disappointment. I rarely lost composure like this in front of Su Man. She seemed startled by my outburst, setting down the magazine with an attentive expression. I never realized you harbored so much resentment. I thought everything was perfect. The pent-up emotions in my chest spilled out as my tone turned unbidden with sarcasm. Of course it's perfect. You live in your own world all day. The heavy housework and chores all fall on me. I have to worry about every little thing. When you're unhappy, you can talk to your girlfriends. But when I'm sad, I just have to shoulder it alone. Su Man stood up and gently pulled me into her embrace, her palm stroking my back. I'm sorry. I've been too selfish. I'll change. I could no longer control my emotions. Clutching her tightly, silent tears streamed down my face. Growing up under my parents' strict upbringing kept me under constant pressure. No matter how hard I tried, I could never earn a word of approval. When I met Su Man, her graceful and composed demeanor acted like a soothing balm, showing me the possibility of a different kind of life. How much love does a parched heart need to feel quenched? In truth, just a little warmth is enough. In the days that followed, Su Man truly became more attentive and considerate. She would initiate conversations after work, and today she even suggested accompanying me to the gym. I was both pleasantly surprised and touched. Zheng, I want to borrow some money from you. Could you give me 50,000 yuan first? After half an hour on the treadmill, Su Man suddenly spoke up, her tone carrying a hint of hesitation. Didn't you just buy a LV bag? How are you short on money again? Recently there's been some cash flow problems. Last month's credit card bill hasn't been paid, and this month I wanted to buy a limited edition. I stopped exercising, carefully examining her expression. The tenderness these past few days had only been paving the way to ask for money. What about your salary? The monthly allowance I give you. Su Man had always spent lavishly, blowing through her monthly salary and constantly asking me for money. After moving in together, I covered all living expenses and gave her 5,000 yuan monthly allowance. She always claimed to be a refined woman who needed skincare products and designer bags. Now this paycheck-to-paycheck woman wanted to borrow money for luxury goods again? Su Man fell silent. She had always been honest and terrible at deception. Is this another gift for Gu Machwan? She looked at me in surprise, a flicker of panic flashing in her eyes. You looked through my phone? I curled my lips into a cold smile. So it really is him. Su Man's face instantly darkened, anger surfacing on her pale features. How could you do this? We should respect each other's privacy, but you completely distrust me. If we don't even have basic trust, what's the point of this relationship? I clenched my fists, the sweet moments from these past few days now appearing utterly ridiculous. Then let's end it here. Cheng Zheng. Her voice suddenly sharpened, the first time I'd seen her so unhinged. Remember what I said? I despise men who use breakups as threats. If you want to refuse, say it outright. Don't wield breaking up as leverage. Once spoken, Don't think of taking it back. I suppressed the turmoil in my chest, my voice freezing cold. Then so be it. I refuse. Don't be so stubborn. It's just tens of thousands. I'll pay you back soon, I promise. I said no, impossible. I turned and strode away, unwilling to utter another word. We were caught in an unprecedented stalemate. Our relationship, Ving plummeted to an all-time low. She moved into the guest room to sleep, deliberately ignoring the late-night snacks I prepared, opting to satisfy her hunger with takeout. That night when I returned home from overtime work, I saw in the clutter on the balcony, she had already sorted out and removed all her belongings. Only my fitness equipment and toolbox remained, lying forlornly in the corner. Staring at this scene, I felt like a knife was twisting in my heart. Cheng Zheng, you truly brought this upon yourself. A week later, Su-man finally couldn't hold back and came to me first. How about this? Let's forget the breakup, but could you lend me some money? I looked expressionlessly at the woman who had accompanied me for 5 years. All right. She exhaled in relief and leaned in to hug me. Now that's more like it. Don't worry, I'll repay you quickly. I'll return it as soon as I get my salary. The next day after Su-man left for work, I took a day off. Hired movers to pack and take away everything that belonged to me. When someone's truly determined to leave, they never give warnings. I actually had a place near the company, but moved to Su-man's apartment because it's closer to the business district. This extended my daily commute by nearly an hour compared to before. To Su-man, this seemed perfectly normal. After all, she's a woman and I'm a man. Asking her to move to my place would have made her feel like she'd lose face. Silently placing the keys on the entryway cabinet, I took out my phone and blocked all contact with Su-man. Goodbye, Su-man. Goodbye, my youth. When my parents heard about the breakup, they were shocked. I waited trembling for their reprimand. My father sighed deeply. This separation is better for you. Her family wasn't worthy of you. My mother's eyes reddened as she gently patted my back. You always pour all your love into others, never considering yourself. A relationship requires balanced effort. One person carrying all the weight can't last. Turns out everyone saw the truth clearly. Only I remained drowning in this illusory love, unable to free myself. I clenched my fists and took a deep breath, swallowing back tears. Grateful that during the hardest times, my family still stood firmly in my corner. My abrupt disappearance must have infuriated Su-man. She hadn't even called all this time. I followed my daily routine mechanically, clocking in at work and burning off energy at the gym afterward. The spacious 3-bedroom apartment felt oppressively quiet now. Collapsed on the sofa staring at the ceiling, I could still hear Su-man's voice in my ears. Aizheng, grab my bag for me. Aizheng, let's have sushi tonight. Aizheng, did you wash my dress? What a wicked woman, Su-man. Even after breaking up, she still haunted my thoughts. Covering my eyes with my palms, I felt like a gaping hole had been torn through my chest, howling winter winds cutting straight to the bone. While I wandered like a lost soul, Gu Machuan's life kept flourishing brighter every day. Baya has been riding high lately, radiant with vitality. Since that dinner gathering, Xiao Kai has grown particularly close to me. She even added me to their gossip group chat. I heard Gu Machuan found some sucker willing to lend him $1 million to pay off debts. TSK, maybe some sugar mommy took a liking to his looks? Plenty of women do fall for that. With this spending spree, he'll be drowning in debt again soon. What a bottomless pit. While drinking my protein shake, I couldn't help but worry about Su-man's situation. Never mind. How she spends her money is her business. We've become complete strangers now. Seeing me moping around all day, my mother finally couldn't sit still. I've lined up a nice girl for you to meet. No excuses, you can't keep dwelling in the past like this. I obediently went on the blind date. The woman was some listed company executive with an alleged 7-figure salary and stellar career. The woman wasn't old, probably in her late 20s, with delicate features and elegant poise. But the moment she spoke, I wanted to run. I've reviewed your profile thoroughly. You're very suitable for building a family. Gentle temperament, good at caring for others, stable job, and I can tell you're a family-oriented man. Marrying someone like you would be ideal. Her polished face gradually overlapped with Su-man's shadow in my mind. I slammed my coffee cup down heavily. Apologies, but I'm actually a total homebody. Play games all day, often stay up till dawn. I'm terrible at taking care of people. After marriage, I'd still need my wife to look after me and my mom. Could you handle that? My biggest hobby is collecting limited edition sneakers. It needs at least $50K monthly budget. Can you accept that? As expected, my words frightened her away, leaving her coffee half finished. Still, she maintained her refinement, politely finding an excuse before leaving. Uffed. A soft chuckle came from the next table as a girl holding a milk tea cup approached me. Bet you've never even touched a game controller. I looked up to take her in, sun-bright smile, porcelain complexion, oversized earrings swaying from her earlobes. This vibrant girl, stylishly dressed and radiating energy, was a far cry from Su-man's demeanor. With exaggerated gestures, I pantomimed holding a game controller. Asterisk rat-tat-tat. Bam bam bam. Asterisk. See? I'm a pro at gaming. Ha ha ha. She doubled over with laughter, tears in her eyes. Oh my god, you're adorable. I'm Yetion. Wanna be friends? I smiled politely, revealing perfectly aligned teeth. No. Chung Zheng. What are you doing? A furious shout erupted as Su Man stormed into the cafe, grabbing my arm and yanking me to my feet. Seeing her jaw clenched so tight, my fists instinctively tightened. It's been 2 months, Su Man. Let go of me. My affairs are none of your business. We're over. Who said we're over? When did I ever agree to that? Su Man glared fiercely at Yetion before turning back to me. Chung Zheng, you've disappointed me so much this time. I've told you countless times how much I hate how quick you are to mention breaking up. I gazed at her calmly. People say the pain curves of men and women after a breakup are opposites. Men gradually recover with time, while women become increasingly distressed. Su Man's makeup was smudged, her hair disheveled, and her entire being looked haggard. None of her usual elegant nobility remained. You haven't been following me all this time, have you? A flicker of panic crossed Su Man's expression before she resumed her usual haughty demeanor. Give me an explanation. I gently rubbed the red mark on my wrist. The explanation is that it's over. Su Man, I'm serious. We're finished. Su Man stared at me in disbelief. What did you say? Raising my eyes to meet the woman who had been by my side for 5 years, those 2 months apart seemed unchanged. She still retained that lofty demeanor. Fatigue washed over me like a tide, and I lowered my head. Let's stop seeing each other, Su Man. Let's end it here. Chung Zheng, you'll definitely regret this. Su Man left with those words, her steps unsteady, her retreating figure appearing somewhat disheveled. Her ridiculous sense of pride prevented her from speaking words of persuasion, and I, too, had no intention of humbling myself further. Can you give me a chance to get to know you? Yetion followed me all the way to the cafe. I turned around with a cold expression. If you keep following me, I'm going to lose my temper. The wounds Su Man left me were so deep that seeing women made my chest tighten. The next day at work, the group chat suddenly exploded. Xiao Kai sent several messages in a row in the group. Big news. Baya and Gu Machuan have divorced. I heard it's because Gu Machuan thought Baya earned too little but spent money extravagantly. The two came to blows at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, creating an extremely embarrassing scene. The juiciest part is, a stunningly beautiful woman came to pick up Gu Machuan in her car, the same sucker who lent him $1,000,000 recently. I stared at the incessantly flashing message notifications on my phone screen. How do you know all these details? TSK, my cousin works at the Civil Affairs Bureau, first-hand info. By the way, did you see Gu Machuan's blog post? That woman seems to be his first love. I tapped my phone open, and a car interior photo immediately filled the screen. The woman's hand rested on the steering wheel, pale and slender, a simple platinum ring adorning the fourth finger of her left hand. This was the ring Su Man and I had chosen together when we graduated from university. She said many couples break up after graduation, but she wanted to walk life's path with me forever. When she gave me the ring, her expression was calm, yet I was the one who wept with emotion. She rarely wore it afterwards, always saying it snagged on clothes during work. Never imagined she'd start wearing it again after we broke up. Gu Machuan's accompanying caption read, "Meeting again, my heart still races for you. After going around in circles, it's you who ends up by my side in the end." Su Man must have thought the same way, which was why she lost control when she saw Gu Machuan. 5 years of relationship couldn't withstand the magic of a first love after all. I put away my phone and forced myself to focus on work. At the company gate after work, I saw an unexpected person. Su Man. She stood there wearing a white dress, her makeup so exquisite it seemed meant for some grand occasion. Seeing me appear, she visibly tensed and turned to retrieve a large bouquet of sunflowers from her car. "Ajing, I came to pick you up." The first gift I'd received from her in 5 years, yet it came after our breakup. I smiled bitterly. What was the meaning of this? Accompany Gu Machuan in the afternoon, then come find me at night? I drove here myself. I shook the keys in my hand. Su Man's face darkened. "Chung Zheng, have you thrown enough tantrums? I've humbled myself to come find you. What more do you want?" Complete exhaustion had already overtaken me. "Su Man, why can't you understand? I'm not playing hard to get, nor am I threatening you. We're truly over. You'd better spend your time on Gu Machuan." A fleeting look of pleasure crossed her face. "Are you jealous? There's nothing between me and Gu Machuan. I only went to his wedding to put the past behind me. I lent him money out of pity. My feelings for him died long ago." I finally snapped. "Su Man, this stubborn clinging looks truly pathetic. Those who know you best know how to hurt you worst." The blow clearly landed. She stood frozen, staring at me for a long moment, then threw the bouquet to the ground and left. Su Man laid low for days after that. I kept seeing her on Gu Machwan's blog. She took him to high-end restaurants, skiing, camping, even skydiving. We leaned on each other, kept each other warm, and healed each other. The first thing Su Man did after being healed was to come find me again. Aizheng, I'm willing to let go of all my pride and dignity. Can you come back to me? BR. Oh really? Then why don't you prove it? By posting about us in your moments first. BR. Su Man hesitated, as expected. She had always cared deeply about face. BR. She considered publicly flaunting relationships in social media as childish behavior that diminished one's value. BR. In 5 years, she had never once posted my photo in her moments. BR. I couldn't help but laugh. BR. Just kidding. I'm out. BR. In those early days after the breakup, I wanted to reconcile countless times. BR. But as time passed, I gradually discovered the beauty of solitude. BR. No longer needing to obsessively study Su Man's preferences. BR. No longer replacing all beddings with her favorite pink. I could use my preferred navy blue. BR. Furniture, decorations, ornaments, even the plants on the balcony. Everything could be arranged according to my own taste. BR. Over those post-breakup months, I gradually rediscovered my life's rhythm. BR. Su Man's occasional harassment paradoxically helped me completely release the last lingering attachments to her. BR. The company welcomed a new intern, Yi Tian, whom I had coincidentally met at Starbucks the other day. Boss, please take good care of me. What should have been a formal work handover turned into her deliberately using a saccharine tone. I couldn't help furrowing my brows, my impression of this girl plummeting. I really can't stand this type of forced cuteness. After work that day, Su Man didn't show up. Instead, Gu Machwan ambushed me downstairs. The moment I stepped out the door, he charged over and grabbed me by the collar. In a flash, Yi Tian executed a flawless over-the-shoulder throw, slamming him to the ground. Sorry about that. When I saw someone bullying my boss, my taekwondo instincts kicked in. If anyone dares lay a finger on my boss, don't blame me for getting rough. Gu Machwan climbed to his feet, venom flashing in his eyes. You pretty-faced loser. Su Man's my girlfriend now. Stay the hell away from her if you know what's good for you. A pang of bitterness surged through my chest, but it dissipated almost instantly. From the moment Su Man agreed to be with me, I should have realized that she would choose Gu Machwan without hesitation whenever he appeared. Yi Tian blocked my front as I coldly watched the disheveled Gu Machwan on the ground. Yi Tian, let's go. Gu Machwan tried to keep harassing us, but Su Man arrived just in time to stop him. Machwan, what are you doing? Su Man, since you've already chosen me, stop clinging on to this leftover connection with him. Su Man massaged her temples with visible irritation. How many times must I say this? We're just friends. But that night we already. You clearly promised to be with me. The scene suddenly fell silent. Su Man stared at Gu Machwan in shock, her voice trembling. What nonsense. I was too drunk that night to remember anything. Gu Machwan put on an aggrieved act. It was that party last time. You said you missed me after getting drunk, then we. Su Man pushed Gu Machwan away and rushed towards me. Aizheng, I truly don't remember anything. My heart only has room for you. Please believe me. Uffed. Yi Tian sneered mockingly. This golden boy can't even compare to my boss. You must be blind to fancy someone like him. And getting drunk and climbing into a man's bed? What a convenient excuse you found. I gripped Yi Tian's wrist. Though my feelings for Su Man had faded, my heart still ached faintly. Yi Tian, we should go. Su Man smiled bitterly. Aizheng, is this how we end? I looked up, meeting her gaze with detached calm. You used me from the start as a replacement to forget Gu Machwan. We were never meant to last. Su Man froze in place, eyes filled with remorse and reluctance. I turned and walked away without looking back. I knew Su Man too well. Though indecisive, she valued loyalty deeply. Now that she'd slept with Gu Machwan, she would inevitably take responsibility. Yi Tian kept stealing glances at me along the way, her eyes filled with worry. I'm really fine, just tired. You don't need to walk me upstairs. I politely declined Yi Tian's kindness. At this moment, I still can't throw myself into a new relationship, just wanting to be alone in silence. Su Man truly vanished from my life since then, and I poured all my energy into work to numb myself. Yi Tian orbited around me all day like a little satellite, constantly calling me boss, in ways that sparked colleagues' teasing. Gradually, I discovered she also had a cute side. Though somewhat affected in speech and mannerisms, she was passionate and motivated at work. What moved me most was her attentiveness. Rarely have I met a girl so considerate as her. Every day she remembered to bring me breakfast, even knowing what brand of Americano I preferred like the back of her hand. Gu Machwan got married. Xiao Kai sent a message on WeChat. Yi Tian leaned over to look at my phone, even more excited than me. Is it with Su Man? Xiao Kai immediately sent another message. How did you know that? Gu Machuan has really flown up the branch to become a phoenix this time. Su-man is an executive, you know. Fortunately, Su-man never comes to the company to find me, nor does she like to post photos on social media. So colleagues only know I have a mysterious girlfriend, but not who exactly. It's good no one knows the inside story, otherwise I'd become office gossip. I replied, has the wedding already happened? Yeah, a shotgun wedding. I heard the woman's pregnant. The Gu family really knows how to maneuver. They forced Su-man to transfer the property under her name to him. And Su-man even arranged an executive position for him at the company. I heard the annual salary is huge. I nodded slightly and replied, that's really extravagant. Xiao Kai sent a flurry of messages. Extravagant? Gu Machuan is a master manipulator. He's completely charmed Su-man. Now he's got her by the throat. Threatens to leak their intimate videos online if she doesn't meet his demands. I heard Su-man's parents were so angry they almost ended up in the hospital. In the end, they agreed to all his terms anyway. Reading these messages, I felt a mix of conflicting emotions. That man is truly a character. His in-laws are going to have quite the show to watch now. A year later, our reunion happened in the park. Su-man and her mother were each pushing strollers during their walk. Both had dark circles under their eyes so severe it looked like they hadn't slept for days. Su-man panicked the moment she saw me, immediately hiding behind her mother. Hello, auntie. I politely greeted them. Su-man's mother froze when she saw me. She vigorously rubbed her eyes, then rushed forward to tightly grasp my hands. Tears instantly welled up in her eyes. Aijing, oh Aijing. I've missed you so much, dear. I was completely bewildered. What was happening here? Standing flushed-faced to the side, Su-man silently pushed the two strollers toward the lawn area. Auntie Su took my hand and began recounting Gu Machuan's wrongdoings, through which I learned that Su-man had already divorced. Gu Machuan squandered money recklessly, never attending to household matters. He even neglected to care for Su-man during her pregnancy. Busy with her career, Su-man eventually had to invite her in-laws to live with them. Even the most divine couples can't withstand the grind of daily life. Prolonged cohabitation wore down all their romantic ideals. Gu Machuan's flamboyant and restless nature quickly rebelled against mundane family routines. Not long after marriage, he began spending entire days away from home, frequenting high-end clubs, attending endless dinner parties and social engagements. Squandering money recklessly, he blew through Su-man's savings in no time and amassed mountains of gambling debt. To repay debts, Su-man had to sell their luxury mansion, move back into her parents' old house, and revoke all his bank cards. While Su-man worked tirelessly to clear the debts, Gu Machuan only escalated his gambling habits. Eventually, Su-man broke down, directly going to the company to transfer the salary card to her parents' name. Gu Machuan started drinking heavily and became violent, even threatening to take the children away. The Su family cut off all his financial resources and froze all credit cards. Gu Machuan, accustomed to lavish spending, couldn't endure this lifestyle and filed for divorce himself. After receiving the final compensation payment, he abandoned both children and walked away without looking back. I was dumbstruck, simply unable to believe this was real. He abandoned both children? Even the children from Gu Machuan's ex-wife were dumped on Su-man. Su-man's mother wiped her tears and said through gritted teeth, that man is a complete beast. He cares about nobody but himself. I regret it to death. It's all because Mang Mang was blind, missing out on such a good son-in-law like you. Su-man's mother clasped my hand tightly and asked with full anticipation, Aijing, are you seeing someone now? Considering how deep your bond with Man Man was, shouldn't you reconsider? I helplessly withdrew my hand and replied dismissively, Auntie, I'm already married. Mrs. Su was just like her old self, continuing her monologue. I'm not a fool. Why would I become their safety net? After making an excuse to leave, watching Su-man's disheveled retreating figure, mixed emotions flooded my heart. She now toils from dawn till dusk, working daytime hours and caring for twins at night. The house is gone, savings exhausted. I heard her work performance has deteriorated due to childcare responsibilities, resulting in 2 demotions and significant salary cuts. When young, we thought passionate and dramatic love was true love. But real life teaches us that those who give selflessly are most precious. I hope Su-man grows from this lesson and finds a reliable man next time. Though this hope seems slim, few are willing to raise another's children. While lost in these thoughts, returning to the office, I overheard Xiao Kai and Yi Tian in heated discussion. Gu Machuan has become a gigolo. Cough, cough. I choked on my saliva, coughing violently. Yi Tian hastily handed me warm water. Careful, boss. Blushing, I asked, who did you say became a gigolo? Kai sneered dismissively. Always knew this would happen. A handsome young man who only knows how to enjoy himself and neglects his responsibilities. What else can he do besides leeching off women? I hear he's specializing in entertaining wealthy older women now. Finally found his true calling. Someone like him shouldn't get married. Ordinary folks can't afford to keep such a high-maintenance trophy husband. Yi Tian mused. Su Man was truly blind. She thought coffee dates and sweet talk meant true love, yet the real treasure lies in those who stay through daily routines. Good relationships are built over time. She'll regret it eventually. When leaving work, Yi Tian asked again, "Boss, want to have dinner together?" She was fully prepared to hear my 108th rejection. I smiled and nodded. Sure. Where would you like to go? Yi Tian was stunned. Even her words became hesitant. Oh, really? Just the two of us? I turned to pretend to leave. Forget it if you don't want to go. Yi Tian hurried after me. I want to go. We'll eat whatever you like. See. Heaf. The end. Su Man's extra story. Cheng Zheng moved out and blocked all my contact information. I almost laughed from anger. All because of Imo Chuan? Men really are all the same. They seem so reasonable normally, but when angry, they're more stubborn than anyone. But he loved me for 5 years. There's no way he could let go so easily. Maybe it's better this way. At least I don't have to answer endless questions every day. Peace and quiet at last. But within days, everything changed. I remember when I used to come home from work, Cheng Zheng would always wait by the entryway. He'd take my bag and coat, hand me soft slippers, sometimes bring warm tea. Now when I open the door, only desolation greets me. That warm harbor is gone. No thoughtful greetings remain, just empty coldness. The closet is crammed with clothes piled up like mountains, but I'm utterly exhausted, without even the motivation to organize them. The room hasn't been cleaned for ages. The floor feels oily and slippery. This environment makes me, someone who's always fastidious, deeply uncomfortable. Oh well, I, Su Man, am undeniably a successful career woman. What does it matter to humble myself a little? It's been almost a month. Cheng Zheng must have cooled off by now. Maybe he's even waiting for me to find him. Scrolling through our chat history on my phone, I finally located his workplace. Come to think of it, I've never picked him up after work. He'll surely be delighted when he sees me. Just imagining that scene makes me chuckle to myself. I arrived too late, catching only a glimpse of his car's taillights. Trailing discreetly behind, I discovered he was attending a blind date. Though judging by his irritated demeanor, he clearly had zero interest in his date. Of course, with an ex like me, how could anyone else catch his eye? What stunned me was that after the girl left, a glamorous woman immediately struck up a conversation with him. When did he become such a hot commodity? That woman with heavy makeup clearly was no good match. It made my blood boil. Cheng Zheng gave me the cold shoulder, claiming, "We're over," and telling me to stop clinging. His words nearly made me laugh in disbelief. Since when did he learn these cheap tricks? I detest men who use breakups as threats. Such bad habit must not be indulged. Just as I was about to teach him a lesson, Gu Machuan suddenly came knocking. He sobbed about marrying the wrong person. His wife was a gambler who had just finished paying off her debts only to splurge at the casino again. Things ultimately ended up in court, ending in divorce. Looking at his disheveled and broken appearance, my heart ached. After all, he was the man I had cherished in my youth. How I wished he could have eternal happiness. To help him escape the shadows, I traveled around with him to lift his spirits. Machuan remained as radiant and handsome as ever, as if the years had never etched traces upon his face. But my thoughts kept drifting unbidden toward Cheng Zheng. Mu Chuan made my heart race, yet Cheng Zheng gave me a sense of security. Passion may fade, but peace of heart is rare. I decided to find Cheng Zheng. After all this time, he couldn't still be angry, could he? In the parking lot, I saw him standing with a young woman wearing an elegant dress, her every movement graceful and refined. The girl had a slender figure, raven black hair cascading over her shoulders. Her fresh, understated makeup enhanced her delicate beauty, and watching them made an ache bloom in my chest. Cheng Zheng's face was cold as he said he'd had enough of my constant pursuit. Always gentle and considerate, infinitely patient, I'd never seen him so detached and aloof. A chill rose from the depths of my heart and instantly spread through my body. I stood frozen, my mind in chaos. This wasn't his usual petty annoyance, but a genuine farewell. I returned home in a daze and sat frozen on the balcony until dawn. For 5 years we were inseparable. I had long considered him indispensable in my life. I truly love him. I can't live without Cheng Zheng. Even if it means losing face, I must win him back. But everything was too late. I'm pregnant. It's Gu Machuan's child from that unexpected night. I know Cheng Zheng too well. Though gentle in nature, he has uncompromising principles. Once his bottom line is crossed, there would be no going back for us. Why did I agree to Machuan that night? I've been reminding myself to keep distance. All details became hazy. When I woke next morning he had gone jogging. I thought it was just a dream. Having accepted the marriage proposal, I can only take responsibility. Gazing at his handsome profile, my heart felt hollow. Cheng Zheng, I've truly lost you. Approaching the wedding date, I remained distracted. Machuan grew increasingly hysterical. Flying into rages and smashing things became frequent. Regret grew like weeds. His outrageous demands made me realize how much red tape and formalities marriage could entail. I remember when Cheng Zheng and I were preparing for our engagement. He handled everything down to the rings entirely on his own. The youthful fluttering of hearts ultimately couldn't withstand the grinding erosion of mundane trivialities. Even the sound of his voice grates on my nerves now, and I can't recall why I ever liked him. Selfish, cold-blooded, hedonistic, irresponsible, vain, and slovenly. Why did I keep such a person treasured in my heart all these years? Regrets are endless, but time cannot be reversed. Guma Chuan squandered crazily, depleting the several $100,000 I'd stored with him and piling up debts. Only then did I realize his ex-wife's gambling story had been pure fiction. He destroyed my family and wrecked my happiness. I won't let him keep destroying my life. I must divorce him. Though life remains arduous after shedding the burden of Guma Chuan, things are gradually improving. My parents helped with household chores, allowing me to focus more on work. But due to poor sleep quality, my condition kept deteriorating, leading to frequent mistakes at work. Though demoted, I believe this was only temporary. I hired a nanny to care for the twins and immersed myself in work, often staying late into the night. I believe persistent effort will eventually pay off, and someday all dreams will come true. Guma Chuan gradually faded from my life too. Rumor has it he became an escort for wealthy women. The thought of his fate brings delightful schadenfreude. I wish he would disappear forever. Parenting proves truly troublesome. Between fevers and injuries, I rushed to the hospital on emergency leave, thoroughly vexed. The twins fell from a slide at kindergarten, sustaining serious injuries that required blood transfusions. When the doctor handed me the lab report, I felt thunderstruck. How could neither child share blood ties with me? But the children definitely aren't Cheng Zhang's. If they're not Guma Chuan's, then who on earth is their biological father? Under my relentless questioning, Guma Chuan finally admitted that on the night I got drunk, to please creditors, he actually sent me to be violated by several creditors. Guma Chuan has